if you are in my party, in my org, and if you're not, then I'm allowed to attack you, right? I'm allowed to shoot you. So inside the ship, maybe not an armistice zone.
Yeah.
Around it, I think that's how you can have the best of both worlds.
Which that's what Pyro is right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pyro is armistice on the station, but the second you hit the ship, it's not.
Yeah, which
I
I think,
think
for
works a
me
lot
is
better.
exactly. Yeah, I was going to say. But back onto topic. Back onto topic. We had a big event last night. You put on a massive show last night. It was a lot of fun. I mean, Meta, we had a lot of fun on my ship, even
Yeah.
though we had a bunch of server errors and everything. We smoked that one Polaris
It was a fun
with the
slideshow
size
for
12
sure.
dwarfs.
Oh yeah.
It's a fun slideshow. Could you just go into a little bit, Gally, like the prep for that, like your like kind of your mentality around every single event, like that event in particular was a lot of fun. I know last time you had it as more of an FPS focused event. This one was a little bit more cap ship, space battle focus.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up some numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So to put on yesterday's event, I was in 24 unique DMs or groups on Discord in order to make that happen. I was communicating in 6 unique Discords, like servers. So 24 DMs or groups, 6 unique servers, and 4 DMs on X in order to make yesterday happen. And I could have been in a lot more if I had chosen to interject in certain things. But I was too overwhelmed already with that right there. And yes, it's an interesting dynamic putting on one of these because the goal of them is to be as community oriented as possible and open invite to basically anybody. OPSEC is a massive issue. And so far, the only solution I've had for that is I handle everything. Because if I handle everything, I control the flow of information that goes in and out to various people. So like the information I gave you guys was not the same information that I gave to other people. Simply because I just never worked with you guys before. And so for depending on who you were fed different levels of information. And
Are you CIA trained?
No, but
No.
I have read a lot of books. I'm a book nerd, and I've read a lot about how organizations that try to maintain secrecy kind of work. And I also run like my own spy network in Star Citizen.
An interesting twist.
Yes, I have 6 paid spies that get paid $1 million per month AUEC, and all they have to do is give me 15 minutes of their month, and they give me a debrief of all the orgs that they're in, and it feeds me information on. And I don't do it for offensive reasons at all. I want to be super clear on that because some people don't like that I do this. I call it defensive counterintelligence. Meaning
you're really not beating the CIA allegations, by the way. this is not helping your case. This is not helping your case, bro.
And so the point of it is because once I realized that these were starting to grow really quickly, I needed a way to be able to know if someone was going to hit the event without them telling me, because I want it to be organic, but organic doesn't mean that I have to be ill prepared. And so we literally saw that happen yesterday. Yesterday, that force that came in was not planned, but I did know about it. And now yesterday wasn't really due to the spy network. That was just due to being friendly with the people that attacked us. So I kind of knew because I was in their Discord, but it was not planned. And so, yeah, putting on these things it's basically just a control of information game. Anybody can do this. That's my hope as we continue to do these, is that people understand really how easy these things are to do. It's just you hop in Discord. You just tell people, you invite people, say, hey, meet me at this spot at this time. We'll form up there, and we'll go out and go have fun on this adventure. And the rest is kind of letting Star Citizen guide you on the craziness that's going to happen on that day. Now, obviously, at the scale that I'm at, maybe not everybody can do that because you kind of need to teach yourself how to manage the number of people that are involved. But anybody can do one of these with 10 or 20 people. Anybody. It's 10 or 20 is really easy to do because at that point you can all be in one VC. You're probably grabbing your closest buddies or your closest buddies. And you hop in and you say, hey, I want to go have some really fun player interactions. Let me go out and do that. And I want to go sell this. I want to go buy this. I want to go explore this. Or I think I've heard that people are over there. I want to go over there and just see what they're doing and just let the game take us and see what happens. And so that's kind of what these events are, is essentially just, I want to create an opportunity for just crazy things to happen. So whether we get attacked, whether someone stages a heist, whether we have a successful day, because I don't necessarily need PvP to happen every single time, although that seems to be happening every single time. Case, yeah. I think we're on 7 events in a row with PvP. Yeah, which I mean, it's fun for me, but
fun for us too. Like I mean, Meta was in. For the viewers who don't know, I was lucky enough to be a team captain yesterday, and I was a captain of my Idris, and Meta was one of my proud, call him not a greenhorn, whatever's above a greenhorn, my private on my shit, my head steward, my XO.
Yep.
And I mean, we had when that Polaris jumped in when you were in the middle of a deal, like it was on and it was fun, right? Like we called it out and we immediately got on and we was like, get down, Mr. President. Like we got to protect you. We got to protect it. And it was a lot of fun, right? And
did you know that was friendly, by the way?
The Polaris?
Yeah.
The first one that came in?
Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
That was a
I was bragging about this whole time. It's it's on my TikTok that is on today. And
yep, I saw that. I watched your TikTok. Unfortunately, that was a case of parties not working very well, and so that was a ship where we kind of did what we did with you guys, where Meta was in our party, but the rest of your crew wasn't.
Yeah.
They also had the same thing, but they were running 2 ships, and they forgot to put the pilot of that Polaris in the party, and they didn't have party chat open in the text chat, so they couldn't see my message asking to identify the Polaris. And it wasn't until the second we killed the Polaris, I get a DM in my Discord saying, don't shoot the Polaris, that's a friendly. And as I'm reading that, I look back on my screen and boom, there goes the Polaris.
As I'm dumping 4 size 12 torps into it.
I was going to say, there were 4 Idrises shooting.
Oh, yeah. It died in like 20 seconds.
Hey, but you should be happy with your defense force. We did our jobs. We did our jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I failed to identify. I made the call. I said, take it out. And within 20 seconds, it was dead.
God. Yeah. So, very controversial take here, but I have a very, very tough question for you. Why is this not real PvP? Stir in the pot.
So, for those who may not know,
for context, I totally believe this is real PvP.
And for some more context, someone made a post saying that what we were doing was not authentic PvP, I think is the exact words they used.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I made a post about it very angrily because that's just total crap. And so I'll argue against myself, and then I'll see what you guys think. Then you guys can maybe argue my side. The argument against it is that it's not organic, which is true in some cases. Not all of our events are organic. Like, I think 3 events ago, I did stage a giant invasion. I was planning both the offensive and the defensive sides at the same time. Now, you could make an argument that it was organic because I was the only one who knew. So, like, nobody in my crew knew that this was happening. So for them, it felt organic, and they didn't even know that it wasn't organic until after the fact. But that is an argument, is it's not organic. Also, we don't have the best of the best. We're not all rocking the meta ships, although a lot of us are. we sometimes set rules of engagement, like don't full kill, don't that's really the only rule we've ever done, actually, is don't full kill.
Valid.
And so they're like, it's rules, it's not organic, it's not just random people coming in, like you never get fleets of that size just naturally occurring in the verse. It's always some planned event, therefore it's not real PvP. That's their argument. I strongly disagree.
Do you want to take this one?
I was going to say, so then what's any PvP game ever? I mean, you can just use a basic Call of Duty match. There's a certain area where you can go. You can't leave that area. You can't do certain things. Is that not authentic PvP because there are rules in place? I think it definitely would be complete authentic PvP, even if you set it up.
Get him, Meta. Get him.
Even if you set it up,
Get him.
the player versus player aspect is there. That's organic. Like, what else? I'm trying to think. No, I just fully believe that that is completely authentic PvP because scheduling these events brings it out. It's not like you were told to do this specific thing in that PvP scenario. You're there, and how it plays out, how it plays out. If we lost yesterday, then we would have lost.
Yep.
If we won, we would have won. That's PvP, straight up. So.
And Gally, you're risking not only time, but you're risking your own money on the line, and you're risking your own cargo on the line that you use to do arms deals anyway, right? So if we lost,
so yesterday we lost because of the server error. Yesterday I lost about 40 million worth of cargo.
Is Bearded?
Sorry.
Is Bearded CIG refunding you? Probably not.
No, probably not.
No, definitely not.
The community is, though. Some of the communities reached out.
Hey, right on, community.
Yep.
Well, that's the good thing about we just as a little aside. At least for me, I know Meta, you probably feel the same way, and Gally, I'm sure you feel the same way as well. Like the community in Star Citizen, like a lot of people talk smack, and like global chat is indeed a shit show where I like just F12 and turn it off at all times. But in large part, the Star Citizen community, I think, is really terrific. Like we really do try to help each other out a lot, and so that's not surprising for me to hear that.
Yeah, the community has been fantastic. Immediately after I announced that I lost all the stuff, it was like DMs being like, "Yo, I got some spare railguns and stuff. I'll give it to you. Just make sure you have stuff for the next event. We want to," because truthfully, without the risk of the cargo being lost, the risk for the crew goes away too. Like I didn't say this actually during my briefing yesterday. Normally I do, though. I always make my final statement. I don't matter because I can respawn. The only thing that matters is the cargo. So if that means I die in order to save the cargo, that's what matters. And so then what that does is it creates that sense of urgency. Like, oh my gosh, we're being boarded. They have the opportunity to steal the cargo right now. We need to kill them and get them off the ship in order to keep the operation alive. Because if they take the cargo and they run away with it, the operation's dead. And so it does a fantastic job of keeping the risk high. And unfortunately, it does mean that I'm the one that loses everything. But yeah, I think without that, it goes away.
And my point of bringing that up is that is my retort to this is not PvP, right? Like you are putting risk on the line. And for me, risk, you can have an event, you can script the event all you want, you can set up the sandbox all you want, but that's what it is at the end of the day, is a sandbox. And someone will win and someone will lose. And if you lose and you're the pirate, you just lose your life, whatever, you lose your time. But if you're Gally and his forces, you lose that money, and that's big, right? That's not scripted. You're not getting that back, right? Those pirates are taking them, and they have that. And so for me, that's my retort. Like, it's silly not to call it PvP, and it's not like I'm pulling shots either. It's not like anyone's pulling shots. Like we're fighting. Like yesterday, we were fighting. Like
yep.
I just found out we took down a friendly Polaris that I was bragging about and posted about, but we did, and
Yep.
And so like for me, it's just silly.
Yeah, it totally is a different environment without the cargo being on the line. Initially, I would only do it with like 1 million on the line or 2 million on the line. But as we've grown in player count, I've also scaled the risk of the cargo. And it's made it that much more exciting. Like when you look at YouTube, there's like 4 or 5 different videos out right now on YouTube, all saying like, I helped defend the largest arms deal worth 30 plus million AUEC. And for a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot, I would say a good chunk of people in Star Citizen, 30 million is no joke. Now,
It's not.
For me, it's not a whole ton. Like I now do org contracts, so I'm making
Mr.
like
Moneybags, man, Mr. Moneybags.
I'm making like 400 million a month right now, so it's not a huge loss for me. But for a lot of people who are playing the game normally, like all they do is in-game contracts, 30 million is no joke. That's a lot of time, a lot of investment, and so it's a headline grabber. And the reason it's a headline grabber is because a lot of people aren't getting 30 million.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, I used it in my TikTok video today. I'm
I
sure
will be
Meta, when you
using it in
post,
mine,
you
so.
will be using it. Yeah. So I mean, every content creator. And do you know how many content creators were at your event? Because for me, I at least saw at least 7 or 8, not including yourself. And I'm sure it was probably over that.
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on what you call it, content creator. But I would say, yeah, probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know who was on the attacking side at all. So they might have had a couple. I'm not sure. But I'd say about 7 or 8 or so.
Yeah, it's honestly good for you. It's a super cool event, and
Good for the
I have-
events too.
yeah,
Oh, it's fantastic for the events.
oh yeah,
Since the other creators have started posting, huge uptick in following activity. Like my Discord has blown up. It took me over a year to go from 0 to 100 members in my Discord. And my Discord, by the way, is like almost exclusively for the events. I don't really play in there casually. So it took about a year to go from 0 to 100. It took 3 months to go from 100 to 200. And now we're already like 30% of the way to 300. And that's only been in the last like week.
crazy.
So it's scaling really quickly. And I attribute a lot of that to, because I don't really make videos myself. I have a podcast, but I'm not consistent with it. I've only done 4 episodes. I very randomly stream. I don't really post a whole lot except for on X. And it's been, since the content creators have taken off and started posting about it, I've seen huge growth, both for me personally and for the events themselves.
Good for you, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's gotta feel good when you put that head down and you're like at night and you're like, yeah, this is cool. We're doing something cool here, right? You can be proud of your work and of yourself.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's a cool feeling.
That feeling hit me about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, it hit because that was when a couple of bigger creators reached out, and those people have like 20,000, 40,000, 190,000 subscribers and followers on their social platforms. They're now getting sponsored by these bigger companies and whatnot. And they're reaching out to me to like do stuff with me. I was like, oh man, all right, this is cool.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my last question on the event space is your famous Stormtrooper Legion.
Yep.
Where'd that come from? And how do I join?
So that's really funny because that was like a joke that we've started that we're now kind of rolling with because it's doing well on socials. It would have been 2 events ago, I think. Not this one, but the one before. We were doing, this was actually the only time we've ever done what we called like a closed event. So we didn't really advertise that it was happening. I announced that something was happening, but I didn't extend the invite to the community. And that was because we were working with Hippo, who's a fairly large Sea of Thieves Star Citizen guy. And he and I are trying to build a larger community narrative. And so we didn't script the event, but we planned the event to happen. And then just whatever happens. and that becomes the story for the community. And so while we were all there, there's a couple of creators there on my crew, and we're all trying to, before the event, we're like, oh, what should we wear? What should we wear? And they're like, well, your org name is Order 66, so let's make it Star Wars theme. And we're like, all right, well, what do we want to do? And so we were brainstorming, and we were looking at Antium armor, and we're like, all right, well, there's a black and red Antium armor, so that's you. You're Darth Vader. And I'm also a big Star Wars guy, as you can see back here. And,
we couldn't tell.
Yep. And then they were like, well, the rest of us will wear all white. We'll do the Antium Storm, which is the all white armor, and we'll be your stormtroopers. And I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. The Stormtrooper Legion is born. And so we started with 3 at that event. And then immediately once that event ended, I loved the way the pictures came out, the videos came out. I made a fun little TikTok about it. And so I immediately put in an order to some of my suppliers. I was like, I need 20 more sets of these. I need 5 more sets of these. I need 10 more sets of these. And now over the next week or so, I'll be collecting 40 more sets of these armors. And at some point, I'm going to do a single event where it's a mandate that everyone who comes to the event has to wear this armor set just for this one event. And we're going to take an epic picture with the entire Stormtrooper Legion.
Does the Wicklow and Doro armor count? Because that is, I love that armor.
It does. It looks really good.
I am very, I will never take it off. I love that more than anything. And it also took me like 15 pulls to get it all. So
yeah, we're looking at making other Antium armors become like the officer armors or like Imperial supervisors or officer armors, and that was one of the armors we mentioned. Except for it's really hard to get, so would be not something that we can make a standard crew member wear.
Well, I do have some extra pieces and a bunch of ore, so maybe we can work something out. Maybe is this a chat? Is this a live arms deal we're doing?
A live deal right now.
Arms deal. But do you have anything else before we get into kind of like some general just PvP talk, talking shop?
I don't think so, man.
All right. I asked Meta this yesterday. What is your go-to gun and why?
FPS gun?
Yes.
Railgun.
Okay.
I'm an arms dealer.
If you're at a CZ, what's your go-to gun and why?
Animus missile launcher. You run a parallax rifle and a missile launcher. If they're in a hallway, you just delete the hallway.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, fair enough. I can't argue that. Like, fair enough. Sure.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing for that. Like,
not everyone
Roger
has
that.
one. You walk in, especially like as an arms dealer, if I'm rolling with a couple guys and they're like, yo, I don't have a missile launcher, I'm like, all right, come to the back with me. Open up a box, hand them out like candy, and say, we're gonna own this contested zone, and we just walk in with 100 rounds of missile launchers.
So you were literally the Lord of War Star Citizen edition.
Oh yeah.
Like that scene right there, it was like literally out of the movies. Like,
oh yeah, that's
in my head.
My Twitter bio is Lord of War or something like that.
War.
Like,
yeah,
that's where the arms dealing events came from. Was after I watched that movie.
Meta, you're up. What's your gun and why?
So as I was going over yesterday, I like the FS9, with obviously the tweaker mod on it. I throw the underbarrel base red laser, and then I have the gamma. I think it's the 1X, but it has the NVG option.
Yep.
That's my go-to primary, and then for secondary, usually I'm running either a railgun, an Animus missile launcher, or a P6 LR sniper rifle.
Nice. That night vision, I think, is going to be pretty big in Stormbreaker.
That's
next
so
week. Because
I actually got my whole org to jump on that, and like we're farming night vision scopes for everyone because I think in Stormbreaker it's going to be a big deal for the FPS.
Yeah.
If you guys have any spares, I'll buy them.
I got a lot. I got a whole arsenal myself. We gotta talk some shop.
Another deal. Look at it. We're doing live deals, chat. We are doing live deals. And chat, hi. Thanks for all the love in chat, all the 07 back.
Thank you.
So thank you. And get some questions gathered up. We're gonna go to the chat for some questions towards the end here. So if you have any questions for Gally, just hold on to them. We'll be in Q&A session shortly. But for me personally, I love the AO3, or the A03 is I think what it actually is. But for me, since the P8 is nerfed and to the ground, in my opinion, I know a lot of people love it. That is a hot take of mine. Is I think the P8 is ass. I know it's a hot take, but I I like that DMR style, so I
Me
personally
too.
rock the AO3 and the
I like the
Gallant.
S71. If I'm going DMR, I'm
Yeah,
going S71.
F71 is pretty good too. AO3, see, for me, the AO3 is a nice little like middle ground between the hard hitting of the P8 before 4.2 because it's getting nerfed again
Yep.
to the SR71's like rate of fire
Yeah.
and like accuracy. That's why I rock the AO3. And then I've also been loving the Quartz SMG. Love me
Yeah.
the like Demko. Some people love the Demko. That just recently got buffed last patch, right? I think the Demko.
Oh,
I heard
yeah.
that was good.
Demko.
And I just tried out the Gallant for the first time. I was making a TikTok video. I have a new series called like PvP Basics, and like I was like, oh, what guns do I use? What should I recommend? And I heard a lot of people try out the Gallant, and I was like, let me just try this thing out. And it is dangerous if you guys haven't used it yet. It is very good.
It's very good.
Do you like the Parallax?
No,
Really? Why not?
for me, it is. I can't. It's hard to pre-fire, and what I mean by that is I can't pre-fire an angle and keep someone down because then it will just go into the beam, and then once it goes into the beam, I can't see shit. So I hate it
Okay.
for that reason. And then like yeah, there's some skill in there where yeah you can still pre-fire and stuff, but it's just living on the edge, right? And like I prefer consistency in my PvP FPS fights, and so it was just too inconsistent. It was too high of a skill gap to be like, why would I trade that off? Like the benefits weren't there for me to switch off the AO3 or the Gallant, right? So for me, like in my personal play style, I like to get aggressive. I like to like jiggle peek corners, right? So like for me, it just didn't fit my play style.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people love it. Like a couple guys in my org love it. I think Meta, you love it too, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's good. Very
a
good.
lot of people love it, but for me, it was just it was just too. The trade off wasn't there for me
Yeah.
for me to pick it up. Now the SMG though, that thing slaps. I just picked that up like 2 or 3 days ago, and I was like, where has this been all my life, and why haven't I tried it?
200 grand.
My man, more deals, but deals on wheels, Galley, Galley
Deals on
special,
wheels.
deals on wheels.
Yeah.
Hey, ABC, always be closing. That's a
Yeah.
sales guy right there.
I,
But
I I do sales in my day-to-day job, so I have
there you
that
go. See,
mindset.
I could tell. I was about to say he's got it. Yeah, like underpaid deputy says, Gallant has been my go-to every day for like 5 patches. Like you were ahead of the meta there. For me, it's I just recently picked it up too, and I like it. That and I like the dead ring shotgun in CZs.
Yeah.
Oof, oof. You make some space with a grenade and push with that dead ring, and
Did you buy the pyro pack that came with it a couple like 2 years ago, I think?
no, I
Okay,
just get them
so
from CZs.
it was so busted before they're in the loot pool because only if you had bought the Citizen Con pack could you get the dead rig shotgun. And
Oh,
not
so like
only
another P8 situation.
it
Yeah.
was. And so I could run into anywhere and just blast them on their ass. And they were like, what'd you just kill me with? And I'm like, dead rig, baby. And they're like, what even is that? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's,
you can't get it.
it's that black magic gun, baby. You ain't getting
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
shotgun is
That
so
was just-
good. The Quartz
yeah.
SMG though, fastest TTK if I'm not mistaken,
100. It is.
and it's insane.
It is nuts. Yeah. That thing is. I love it. And matter of fact, I'm probably going to be using it tonight in the CZs. But I love that. But ship wise, now for me personally, chat, I am 2 feet on the ground, FPS player through and through. I am doggy Doolittle dog water when it comes in the air. I'm just not him. I'm not Himothy. Gally, what's your go-to fighter ship?
I'm a meta chaser, so currently it's a full
F7.
NDB Gladius with
Gladius.
bombs.
With the new bomb rack?
Yeah, Earlier today, I disabled a Polaris using the bombs on a Gladius.
I mean, that's kind of crazy that size 3 bombs can disable.
It's because you can hit the component, and
Gotcha. The
there's a
reactor on the
Polaris
back.
on the ground that I was actually targeting, and there's another Polaris over the sky. And as I dropped the bombs onto the grounded Polaris, and the Polaris that I actually was really going for flew, and it hit that one instead. And it disabled, I think it disabled its shields or something with the power, because all of a sudden the shields turned off and they had to ground the thing because it became totally useless. And that was just from 2 size 3 bombs. And then, yeah, you run the full NDBs for PvP combat, and you have fun. I do, depending on, I mean, that's the hard part with PvP though, is it's so contextual. So like if depending on what I'm going after, I'll switch to I have an executive F7A, I have a purchased F7A, I have a Super Hornet, I have a Ghost. So I'll switch any of those out depending on what I'm chasing. But even then, like I have a Polaris too. So if I'm going after something large, that's my ship of choice too. So it's very contextual, but I currently own 6 Gladius, so I probably would have to go with that one.
Nice. Meta?
They're all identical loadout.
Yeah. Meta? You're up,
Um,
pal.
Mine would be the F7A Super Hornet, or C, I think F7C Super Hornet. That's my go-to fighter when it comes to any PvP situation. I think it's just the most well-rounded fighter. It's not necessarily the best, but if I'm picking another one, it's probably the Guardian MX. I love that thing. I love how the missiles go up and then down like a javelin missile launcher.
Yeah.
I love that. Other than that, I'm a big ground guy. I'm usually piloting the dropship or in the dropship. So the Asgard, Cuddy Steel. I mean, those are my favorite ships. Dropship's got a special place for me, for sure.
What's your thoughts on the new Asgard? Because that thing is
So, so I have one pledged. The missile launcher needs to be fixed. It's a huge problem with it right now. It's weak. You hit it once, it blows, and then it blows your fuse, and then the ship is dead in the water after a QT jump. But besides that, the space, the front-facing weaponry, I mean, it's a good daily. It's basically a better version of a Cuddy Black. So if you like the Cuddy Black for its utility, the Asgard's that much better because it's bigger, more firepower, stuff like that.
I think my favorite fighting ship, favorite light fighter, has to be the Idris P with the K kit on it. I am honestly, I'm terrible. Like I think Gally, we were talking before this, right? And I was like, I just can't compete at that level. I'm just not. That's not where my skill set is. So I don't engage in it, kind of thing, right? Like I mostly like lean towards FPS ground gameplay because that's where my skill is. I have good aim, and I don't have HOTAS. I don't have the whole Tobii eye tracker set up, right? I don't have the whole setup. Now I do have an FPS setup though. Like I have the Hall Effect keyboard. I have the shout out to Final Mouse, 20 grams, super light on a glass mouse pad, right? So like I'm I'm there, and I'm not up there. I'm just not good up here. I'm really bad. So for me, it's an Idris because I like captaining an Idris, and that's probably the only thing I'm good at. I'm terrible. So if you see me in the verse, go easy, go easy. I'm not very good on the ground. You can do your thing, but in the air, I'm awful. You will kill me 9 times out of 10. But going
I
into
like
just no, go ahead.
I like bombing ground targets. Take a Gladius, size 3 bombs, sight them, drop them, and nuke them.
And did you pay for that in the store or did you get that in game?
Mix of both. I bought, I think, 2 packs with store credit because I was trying to buy an Idris and I missed out on all 15 waves and I melted 90% of my fleet to try to get the Idris.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting on an enormous amount of store credit. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go grab some freaking bomb wrecks. And so I did that. But then I don't prefer to do that. And so I went and I knew a guy who was selling some. So I bought 4 sets from him as well.
Nice.
With in-game currency.
The whole Idris situation was. I just want to get your quick thoughts on cap ships, buying them, and like that whole drama of the 15 waves. Should it be limited? Should it not be limited?
Well, my thoughts are, like, it shouldn't be limited. I don't understand why they've ever limited any ship ever. They are all about getting money, and they're choosing to let us not give them money. It just seems like a very weird choice. And they've hit us with, though, oh, we don't want too many out there. There's already too many out there. You can't go anywhere without seeing one of these things already. And it just seems dumb. It also seems incredibly stupid because the Polaris was a whole limited ship, and then it released, and they made it not whole limited anymore. But then the Idris releases, which is like supposed to be the thing that's going up against the Polaris, and that's whole limited. It makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, for me, I was in the store credit phase, and I melted everything to get it, my whole fleet, and I wanted one so bad. And the weird thing was, if you kept on refresh, I got it in wave 2, but I didn't get it because of me, like the F5 wars. I got it because I noticed that over time they would just keep on coming back in stock. Like 45 minutes later, I saw one come up and I just snagged it, and I was like, this is broken. Like there's something weird here. So there was something definitely weird going on there. But yeah, I agree. It is kind of silly to have it whole limited, especially like you said, there's going to be a bunch of them coming on, but engineering's seemingly around the corner, and you're not going to be able to fly these bad boys without a crew. And I think that's going to be a harsh reality for a lot of those. We think soon, TM. We think that. So for me, it doesn't make much sense for me personally. Like you're not going to see a lot of them. You're probably going to have to need at least a crew of 10 at best, right? Maybe less, but tier 0.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I think me and you have conflicting views on tier 0. I personally like it. I think you dislike
I'm a harsh hater, and outspoken hater of tier 0. Because I think it affects me more than it affects the average person. So I don't think, to people that kind of know what I do, I don't think it's super surprising. And unfortunately, I see the negative effects of it every single time I play this game. For one, tier 0 has crushed the player trade business. I don't care what anyone says. There's a common argument that there is no market in Star Citizen, and that's just totally false. You just don't know where to find the market.
That's from the person who is the market, by the way. You would know.
And so I've seen a tremendous drop in demand for everything player trade related since tier 0 has come out. And I called it before it came out too. Yeah, we're talking tier 0 meta.
Meta goes back. Shit. Oh, tier 0. Yeah. I should have just stayed away.
Yeah. And so for me, and I don't even care. It's not like a greed thing for me. I'm not like, oh, I need more money. I just feel bad for everyone else. I have more money than I know what to do with. I just feel bad for the normal traders who are like trying to sell their random NDB that they found off of a contested zone. And well, one, there's duping, which also doesn't help that at all, but that's not that's
neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's not the main topic, but tier 0 has just made it so difficult now that like looting FPS things is just like, why buy more of one of anything? Like initially when it first came out, there was some bugs where like you were losing some of the gear on your backpack. So like railguns spiked in value just a little bit because they were like, oh, we need to stock and grab a couple extra just in case we lose the one in our backpack. But that's been fixed, and like the demand has gone down like crazy. And I just think it's a horrible design too. Like, why is it that when I kill somebody, and it sounds like you're a Tarkov player too from our earlier conversations. I come from a Tarkov background.
Retired.
I come from like
retired.
I come from Tarkov. I come from DayZ. I've dabbled in Rust. If it's a survival game, I probably played it at some point. I played Ark like once or twice. And all of those games, like loot is what drives the reason to do things. And when you can't loot anything off of a kill, like already in Star Citizen, it's too easy to die and get right back to where you just were. Like if you're at Grimhex and you're on Daymar, it takes you like 4 minutes to go from Grimhex to Daymar if you know what you're doing. And so already you're on a clock. You kill somebody and you're trying to loot them, you got about 4 or 5 minutes before they're back and shooting you again. But now that you can't loot anybody, it's made the problem worse because now they can actually get back to you faster because now there's no delay and them having to re-kit up real quick to get back to you. Now they're just sprinting for you. Or God forbid, they have a respawn wherever you're at. And if they have a respawn wherever you're at, they come out the door swinging. They're shooting right off the rip. And all of a sudden, it just makes fights feel so meaningless and empty to me. And as someone who loves player-generated content, it just turns into a Call of Duty match where there's very little risk, for me at least, feeling-wise. It feels like the reward for killing something just isn't there. Like, all you've really done is set them back 2 or 3 minutes. And, yeah, I think it's been super disruptive.
See, I have the complete opposite view. I think, and it is just probably like my background. Like, yeah, like I did play DayZ for a little bit. Not a big survival player. That's not kind of my jam. As someone who mains like CZs and Hathor, for me, T0 has been awesome because it's just, I get to play more instead of playing like screen simulator on your
inventory simulator.
Inventory, yeah. Thank you. Inventory simulator. Now in Tarkov, that was a skill, right? The playing Tetris, but you can't even play Tetris because the looting UI in this game is awful, and the FPS mechanics in this game are generally awful. Well, the mechanics maybe are not bad. The design is pretty awful, and for me, T0 was just like a quality of life thing where I could play more, I could do what I want more, and I can wear what I want and be a little bit colorful. Like I literally have a series on TikTok called that shows off all the fits of the verse. That's what I call it. And I just show off everyone's like cool kits. And it was like, not everyone's wearing the same set of Marzov 15 times over. And for me, like I wasn't really looting anything off of people in CZs anyway. Like I came there for the comp boards, the parts, and the guns. So like for me, it wasn't like Tier 0 has only been positive for me personally. Like Meta, what do you think? Like what, like you do a lot of, I feel like our play styles are pretty similar, like on ground mostly. So
for sure, but I do agree with Gally more on that one, mainly because again, all I've ever played before Star Citizen, I got 13,000 hours in Ark Survival Evolved.
You know? My man is the GOAT.
I went
the Ark GOAT
in Ark, Rust, Deadside, Tarkov, Gray Zone. That is my jam, and it's not. I love the looting, and I love stockpiling the loot, because in Ark, I'm going to use that as an example. When you kill somebody and you start stockpiling this loot, you're stockpiling it for a big tribe war. You're going to go to raid this guy's base. It's going to take hours. You need kits, because you need to be ready to re-kit fast and get back into the fight. And with what Star Citizen has put out that they want to do, with base building, this dynamic economy, this player-driven economy akin to EVE style, you need to lose things. I mean, it's part of it in order for that system to work correctly. And if it's stuck on the Tier 0 thing, which yes, Tier 0 is more convenient, absolutely, and it does help with dying to bugs and stuff. But I still think that there's probably a better solution besides what they have implemented. But again, I'm biased. I'm big on survival looting. That's my thing. But also, it's that rush that you get when you're in this pinch of a fight. This is my last kit. I'm half dead, and you need to get out of that situation. You know what I mean? It's that.
Yeah. You start trembling. You start.
Oh yeah.
I've had adrenaline rushes playing the damn game because you're sitting there like, I mean, you're literally shaking
Yeah.
because if you lose, then it's it, and now you got to re-kit. And by the time you get back there, they're gone. So,
Yeah. I did have that feeling though, to be honest, mining Karenite. So like when Hathor
Yeah.
first came out and you're in the hole and you're defending that thing and you just see enemies start, you're like, we did it as like an org event. Like, let's do combined arms, right? They're giving us this, like, we don't need combined arms, but like, fuck it, let's just have fun. Why not?
Yeah.
Right? Like, sandbox activity. So like when our pilots were like, yo, someone snuck in and they're on the ground, they're about to assault you. And you get out of that geo and you're like, I have 50 Karenite on me. That's like an hour's worth of work right there. That's a lot of money. That's like a lot of time. Like, I had to go defend this shit.
yeah.
It's on. And I felt like I was like in Tarkov again, where it was like, I have to win. There's no losing here. And so that was a cool feeling. And so for me, it's still in there, even with Tier Zero. Like, I definitely hear you guys, and you guys come from a different background than me. I'm not.
17.5 million is how much Karenite you had in your backpack.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So and the worst part is, I got an F8, and in 4.1.1, I didn't have an F8 anymore. So that's 600 Karenite just went down the drain. So all that for nothing. But what are you gonna do? That's kind of my thing. But whatever. But I think for me, a good solution to Tier Zero, because I think we have to understand here, like, we're definitely in like a little bit of a PvP echo chamber, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where like we are the 1%, and then like a lot of other guys, so the majority of the community are the other like 97, 95% who aren't very skilled in PvP, and that's okay. That's not their thing.
Mining, salvaging, cargo running.
Exactly. And I think like T0 helps out the community a lot better than to us, right? So for me, it's a nice trade off. But I think for us, or I think just in general, a good solution would be like, yeah, there's going to be base rating in Pyro. Take it away. Like, in low sec zones, just take it away. You have no Tier 0 anymore. And then in some security systems, and you can like meld that in with the lore or whatever, right? Like, I'm not a lore guy, but I feel like that's a nice, easy compromise for everyone.
Right.
So my comeback, because I've heard people argue that before. My comeback to that is it doesn't make sense for Tier 0 to be the thing for the 95%, because the reality is the 95% aren't entering combat where losing things is of any meaning 95% of their gameplay. Most of the time, you're in the middle of nowhere, no one's touching you, and you're good. And if you're dying, it's because you crashed into an asteroid because you're a bad pilot. And
Me, every play session.
And so it's like it's designed to get people back into the action, but who's getting back into the action? The people who are fighting.
Yep.
And so if the people who are fighting think this is the stupidest thing you've ever done, take it away. If the people who are fighting prefer something else, and that's what this system is supposed to fix, is getting people who constantly are dying and having to spend 5+ minutes in their inventory, which, by the way, if you're spending 5+ minutes to kit up, you're just bad, because it should not take that long.
British 15 in chat brings up a good point. Insurance would be cool. Get Prapper to send his guys to Pyro
that's
to
what
look
I
for your
said.
gears,
Yeah.
which I think is
100%.
another brilliant idea. Is to do something like that, where you, and a matter of fact, I think they were preparing to do so, because if you remember in 4.1 PTU, they had the UI when you died as death insurance, death tax insurance, whatever they called it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think that's brilliant, because now you're risking something extra. And what if I don't have money to cover what I just had? And I feel like there has to be some form of insurance, or at least not being able to loot armor. Here's why. Hear me out. Because they're starting to specialize armors. For example, right? Like my Enduro Wicklow armor that I love more than anything, right? I grinded hours. I put in a whole org session, multiple weekends to grind all that Saldinium, go get it, all the ore and everything. Now, let's say I go into a CZ and some guy who's not good at PvP kills me, takes that armor, right? That armor represents an achievement in PvP. And this could be extrapolated to, this armor represents 1,000 hours in cargo hauling or mining or whatever, right?
Right.
If I can lose that armor, another player can loot it. It's not special anymore, right? Like I remember Destiny 2. I'm sorry, Destiny 1. When you saw someone in the tower or in a raid that had like the trials, like the flawless trials armor on, you were like, dude, this guy's good, right? You were like, oh, like this raid's going to be good because this guy's good. And I feel like that is for an MMO, for me personally, I think that's like healthy for an MMO to have those types of achievements, like those cosmetic achievements. Now you could solve that a couple different ways, right? You could do it like a lot of guys, a lot of MMOs do it as like it's just visual. It's not the actual armor.
Like a transmog type of thing.
Transmog, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. But for me, I feel like the cat's out of the bag. And I don't know if they're going to continue to go down the path of like unique rewards, especially armor rewards. I don't know how you have full loot and have those special rewards. For me personally, I don't see how both of those can live in the same universe because then it
I
devalues
think
the
insurance.
special achievements.
I think insurance solves both of those issues. It allows me to loot your armor, and it allows you to get your armor back.
Yeah, but
If
then you have the
you
cool
want to bring
armor.
it,
Yeah, but then you
yeah.
have the armor, but you didn't achieve the achievement. You see what I'm saying?
Like I can get your armor right now. I know someone who's selling that armor, and I can just go buy it from him right after this podcast is done. And so now I have this armor
That's
that
fair.
took you 100 hours to get, and it took me 15 minutes because I just got the cash and I just went and bought it from somebody else with in-game currency, nothing, no real cash.
Honestly, that's a
And
fair perspective. I didn't think about it.
anything
You can just do
in the
it.
game that can be dropped and handed to somebody else can be purchased from somebody else. I guarantee you I can find someone who's willing to do it. Ships, I think, is the only exception. You can't transfer ownership of ships. But even then, you still sort of can with like comp words and like giving someone CZ ships or Wicklow ships. You can still sort of do that.
UEX, $9 million. You could buy a whole pack.
Yeah. And so it's like because we can already get whatever we want by trading, then it becomes a cash game. How much cash are you willing to put down to get these rare things? So if you want to keep your rare thing, you put cash down and you now get to keep that investment that you've put hundreds of hours into to get. And now you put up 100 grand and now you get to just keep it. Now, if you lose it, you get it maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, a week later, whatever they set it to be. You get it back now as insurance. I now get that reward from winning that battle against you. And if you choose to bring that armor out, then that's my reward. And if you choose to bring a white suit, well, then it's one, easier to kill you, and two, there's no reward on my end, but you also don't put up any risk at the same time. And I think it's why I think insurance in Tarkov works so well, is because you could still bring the best gear, although if someone stole it, then you don't get it back. But I don't think Star Citizen should do that.
No insurance fraud.
Yeah, like you don't want to insurance fraud.
Avoid ditch it in a bush.
Yeah. But I think insurance is the perfect balance of PvP guys get cool rewards, PvE guys who don't want to engage in PvP and don't want to put up any risk can choose to do that if they're willing to pay for that privilege. And I think it's like the perfect balance in my opinion.
Yeah. Wicked Starlight agrees with you in chat.
Mhm.
I have the standpoint everything should be lootable in PvP and everything should be able to be insured and reclaimed via an insurance terminal, including store gear. Yeah, I think you're starting to convince me on the happy medium of insurance there. I mean, obviously coming from a Tarkov background, I think that just kind of makes the most sense. But chat, any questions for Gally before we let him go? No, we're coming up on time here, Gally. So I want to be respectful.
If you want to
of
keep
your
going,
time.
I have time. So if there's other topics you want to hit, I'm good to keep going.
Cool. We'll hit some topics. Chat, get those questions in the chat, and we'll ask Gally as you throw them in. So my next thing is your guys' thought on just the general state of FPS PvP. What do you think can be done better to make it better? Because I think for me the potential's there, right? Like when you play Arena Commander, it's smooth, it's fast, it's fun. When you have two guns on your back, that goes away, right? For example, there's like a little plate on the ground. Every little pebble you step on, your guy just jiggles up and down. Your gun goes everywhere. So there's like some issues there, but like, what are your thoughts on maybe just the general feel of FPS PvP?
You can go first, Meta.
So, but looting and everything aside, I think for the most part, the what they want is there, and it works well. I think it's just general jank that needs to be fixed with a lot of it. Like you said, I had a situation happen the other day where I was in a CZ and I was healing myself, right? So I'm fighting a player. I get behind a wall and I'm pull out my med gun. I didn't have any pens left. Pull out my med gun and I'm healing myself. Um, I then pull my gun back out, and my gun is facing towards my chest. And as I'm panicking to hip shoot or point fire this guy, my gun is shooting that way. And it's just, it's little stuff like that to
Yeah.
where it's like, I probably could have gotten out of that situation, but the game prevented me from getting out of that situation. Or another issue with with the actual med pens. Half the time you'll grab one and it doesn't work. You'll hit it, jam it in, and then your health doesn't go up. And it's like, okay, well, that was a valuable 3-second window I needed to prepare to get back into this fight. Little stuff
And
like
the crazy thing about that is Stormbreaker is going to be massive with meds, which I personally love that it's like a new layer onto FPS combat. Like they created a sandbox where you need to prepare for it, right?
that.
So like I need to bring an oxypen, right? Because I'm on a low atmo planet. I need a radiation pen to get down the radiation. But if those things don't work, then the gameplay loop is like the whole game design around it is silly. It's useless. It feels awkward currently. Gally?
Um, I would say it's not super enjoyable for me. I feel like way too often I am killing somebody on my end, and then I die after I've seen them die
Ah,
because of
classic
desync,
desync.
and that just pulls me right out of it. It not only does the satisfaction go away, but just the frustration of knowing that, like, you don't even know, like, maybe I didn't kill that guy first and I should have lost that, but maybe I killed him because of desync. And if that's the case, I want to lose that. Like, because not only does it help make me a better player by knowing what I did and didn't do, well, it's hard to get a read on what just happens. You're like, we both were shooting each other in the chest. Did they hit a headshot? Did I hit a headshot? Who knows? Because we're both dead. And so I think desync is the number one thing that they need to fix. Even Arena Commander, I still feel the desync a little bit. Like the overall FPS is really high, so it feels smooth. But every once in a while, I'll get a random kill where it's like, how did we both die there? I don't get that. And I think it's the only game that I trade out with players as much as I do, which just feels so wrong. Like you play Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything like that, very rarely are you trading out with somebody. So yeah, I think desync is number one. But in terms of the actual gunplay, like I can kind of see the vision of what they're hoping for. The gunplay feels decent. Switching guns is such a pain in the butt. Like I agree, meta.
God.
Switching guns is brutal. Switching to med pens is brutal. Med gun, brutal. So there's definitely a jank issue that they need to fix. But I do like guns. They feel a little bit punchy. All the guns seem to have a kind of a unique feel to them. Like I can tell when I'm using an S71 versus a P8 versus an A03. They all have a very nice, unique feel, which I think is good. I think the weapon designers have done a good job with that. All the ARs, they all feel unique. They all have cool sound design. I think they're doing a better job now of balancing ammo counts, which I think was a problem before. LMGs don't feel as busted as they used to feel. And yeah, I do think the desync is getting better, especially with server meshing. I feel like I noticed a pretty big improvement in that. Because before, like pre-server meshing, if you weren't using an FS9, you were just losing.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
You shoot.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Galley might have desynced out
Gally,
of
you're
the
desyncing, bro.
He's desyncing. But Spry and British in chat bring up a good point. Spry says, "Meta, you don't know how to use the red pen. It is a med pen, not the Camelbide."
Spry's a liar.
Obviously, Spry's a liar. And then says Bleed gets a lot of people with injuries, and Bleed is. I actually like the mechanics of Bleed a little bit more. Where
There we go.
Oh,
hold on,
there we
that
go.
might be out. Let
Can
me
you guys hear me
unmute
now?
him in Discord just to see if
Sorry,
he joins
Spry.
back in. We'll get him back in. Yes, Spry.
That's my boy.
A Spry's your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's being a wise guy. I was like, Spry might know you. Like, I should bring this up. And then British also brings up a good point. I think the keybinds for me personally are awkward, right? Like going up to 4. Like for me personally, I have my keyboard set at like a 60-degree angle. So for me to go up to 4 to get the med pen out, it's a lot more awkward than like bringing out the med gun, for example, right? Like if I need longer heals to quick heals or something like that. Oh, Gally, are you back? I hear you in Discord.
Yep, I hear you. I see you guys on the
I see
Streamlabs
you
thing.
too. I see Gally.
Okay, I think I gotta bring you back up so we can see you. There we go.
Yeah,
Got you back up.
There we go.
He's back. So I gotta Discord. All right, we're back. We're back, everyone. But yeah, we're just talking about like hotkeys and just the kind of the awkwardness of that. Like for me, I rebound Q and E just because it's easier for me to get to, like Q being pull out my main gun, E pulling out the med gun, and like that has made it a little bit more smoother for me. But yeah, 4 being, and again, my keyboard's at like a 60-degree angle to me. Getting up to 4 with my index finger or my pointer finger is like, it's just weird. I wish I could like rebind it to like a mouse key or something like that, right? So
Yeah,
I agree on that.
I think this game could benefit from like a hotbar sitting on the bottom of your screen.
Yep.
1 through
Cool.
9, so you can prioritize stuff. Absolutely.
I think DayZ does that really, really well.
Yep.
Tarkov,
hotbar.
like British
Tarkov
brought up,
Yeah.
Tarkov with the new healing mechanics. I think a wipe or two ago.
Yep, Gray Zone actually does that pretty well too, I think.
Arc did it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, a lot of the problems with the game design in Star Citizen when it comes to PvP, I think have been solved largely in other MMOs or games. For me personally,
Right.
I think this is a hot topic that I have on Stormbreaker. We'll get into Stormbreaker and then we'll go to questions and probably wrap it up. But for me, Stormbreaker, I think is going to cause a lot of problems in the community. It's going to be great for us who do PvP, but my gripe with it is the design with the medbeds at the facility.
It's so bad.
It is the dumbest design I think I've ever seen. And the problem with it is that the facts that the medbeds are there to begin with. Because think about it, right? You're a team that controls that zone, that space, right? Another team, say us, we pull up and we want to control that zone. We kill you. What do you think we're going to do? We have to camp the medbeds. It's either we fight the Valacar and die to you guys on our back, or camp the medbeds until you get out of there. You're forcing us into a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
So like for me, I don't like. I think CIG can refine like the game designs of some of these areas just a little bit more.
I think with that, I thought I saw something where, not that this fixes it completely, but I thought I saw something where there's 3 different medbed spawns, so now when you die, it's random between the 3. So they can't camp the one door that you're sitting at, but if there's enough of them, they can camp all 3, and then you're screwed anyway.
Which is so boring for the people who have to camp the medbed.
Exactly. So now you have to have people sitting there guarding a medbed. Like,
yeah, but then like I want to go fight the Valacar and like do the event and have fun.
Right.
But then I get shot in my back, or I have to say like, "Hey, you over there? I know you want to fight the Valacar, but yeah, can you just pull rear security the whole entire time?" Like it to me, it's just a little silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Medbeds in general, I think, are totally busted. And I'll give a real example that just happened to me, I think, on Monday. I was with a buddy duo, and we snuck aboard an Idris, a solo Idris, which is a problem in of itself.
Don't get me started.
No kidding.
We snuck on, we killed the pilot, and we're like, this is our ship. And then it dawned on me, nope, he probably set his med spawn on here. Sure enough, he's coming up the elevator. I kill him again. And this is also a problem with tier 0. He then spawns in the med bed a third time. He comes up, tries to kill me again. I win, kill him. And eventually I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this. So I run to the med bay, and I just sit there. Me and my buddy, we proceeded to kill him about 20 times in a row of just farming him. And we were not even there trying to like grief him for the kills. We were actually trying to like get him to, we were giving him a chance. The VoIP was working, which was awesome. And so every time he would respawn, I'd be like,
yeah, that's another.
I will give you a chance right now to get up, reset your spawn on the terminal, and then just, I'll kill you one more time. You'll go back to your original spawn, and that's it. Like, I don't want to keep killing you, but I have to because the game design has forced me to. And the Stormbreaker is going to be a bigger problem because there's no admin access for it. So no one can wipe the imprints. It's so stupid.
Which is dumb.
And
so dumb.
Yeah. And British brought that up in chat, and 07 back, Yosa, welcome to the chat. But British brought it up too. Like, it would be rewarding for a successful attacking force if you could go in and wipe the prints off, right? So it's like
a tiger
stack. Like, give me, yeah. If you want the med beds, at least give me something, right? Because it's not fun. Like in your situation, you just said, Gali, it's not fun for the guy, like, quote unquote griefing, but it's not really. But because we're forced to do it, but it's not fun for the guy attacking the guy in the med bed, and I don't see how it could ever be fun for the guy in the med bed.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just, why even put yourself as a game designer in that situation to begin with?
And there's also like, even if you don't want to spawn in that med bed, you don't have a choice. Like when you're in the in-cap screen, you should have a choice to respawn at home base or respawn at the med bed.
Oh, you mean like Battlefield? Like how that's been doing it for like almost
a decade?
like, again, a lot of these problems were a lot of these problems have been sold.
What Spry said right there. I mean,
make the med bed,
make it like a command
controlled
post
zone
in Battlefront or something.
Yeah,
you have to lock that area down. Now you spawn at it. As soon as you lose it, you lose respawn. It's
it is crazy to me that two chatters already, right, between British and Spry, have come up with better solutions to this problem than the guys designing it, right? Like it's, and I only complain about it because it feels bad. It feels bad, right? It's not good for anyone. It's not good for us as the attacking force. It's not good for them as the defending force. And you're just going to have people complain about it. And we want this to be a fun experience.
Terrible.
And it is not a fun experience when I have to go camp a medvent. I want to go fight the Valakar. I either want to fight other players or the Valakar. I don't want to be looking at a medbed for 20 minutes until you rage quit.
Right. And there's going to be a point to where people aren't really there for the Valakar, because kind of like Hathor, a lot of people don't go there for the mining stuff anymore. They go there for PvP. It became a PvP hotspot, so that's why they go there. Or loot, exactly.
Yeah.
This is going to be a similar thing, and I can already see groups doing this. Is, all right, let's take 5 of us. Let's go put our spawn on the bed. Let's leave. And let's go sit and wait for people to go in. They're going to clear the area. They're going to see nobody's there. We all backspace. We all spawn under them. And now we're there. We didn't have to infiltrate. We didn't have to sneak in. We spawn there now. Yeah. I think it's dumb.
Tier 0 with Medbay colliding to create the worst experience.
Yeah, 100%. Because it wouldn't be a big deal if Tier 0 wasn't a thing. Yeah, respawn all you want, but you're spawning in a medical gown. Okay, fine. If you can, you can spawn in a medical gown, kill a guard, kill somebody, take their gear, and then kill me. You deserve it.
Because you're at a disadvantage, right? You're picking up the guy's stuff and you're going out there and doing it right. At least that requires skill. Skill.
That's a touchy subject in this game.
I don't think Medbed should be at Stormbreaker, period, though.
I agree.
Oh, I agree.
Bring an Ursa.
1,000%.
Yeah, that's why we have
bring an Ursa.
Like, bring attack. Well, I guess you can't really bring attack because you got to have land vehicles, but that's what we got it for, right? That's the point. And I
Yeah.
think they're kind of missing a big combined arms scenario with this, with having to take the tram in, because I don't think you can take vehicles in from the outside, can you?
I mean,
Yes, you can.
You
you
can?
can,
Oh, okay, never
Yeah.
mind. I
yeah. I
thought
mean,
that
you
you
can
It's
had
a
to
land
take
there.
the
long
tram.
drive, though.
It is a long
You're
Yeah.
gonna be driving
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, and you can also like cheekily like park an Idris or Polaris over and just let yourself sink in, which
Yeah. I don't know. I think
that's that Gouda, that Howda, that cheese. That
Yeah.
mhm.
My favorite way to get in though, and I cannot wait to do this. I have not done it in practice, but I have seen it done, and I know I will be doing this at Stormbreaker. Is you fly above it, you take the Atlas Ichty, you drop in.
Yep.
I mean, that's the
Yep.
hell
most
divers,
Yep.
hell
badass
divers.
way.
Yeah,
I'm never taking the tram into that place. One, it's a death
Galley
zone.
just gave up my TikTok idea as soon as 4.2 dropped. that was
Yep.
my
It's
next
the
thing.
most badass
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen. Drop a freaking mech onto the site and just kill everything. It's
Yep.
so freaking cool. And then the fact that you can make such an epic play and
Titanfall
then you
context,
kill
you're right.
somebody and that person just respawns on the freaking med bed with full gear and then can kill you is just
Yeah. Our little Titanfall
It takes that
game
away
convex says,
a
and
little
it's
bit for sure.
yeah, it does. Titanfall 3 anytime soon, unfortunately.
Oh, I wish.
No, I think they canceled it again, didn't they?
Don't even
Yeah,
talk
they
to me
did.
about it.
Yeah,
Who
so
knows?
sad. But I think we're gonna wrap up here. Any viewers have any questions for Galley before we let him go? Orbital drop plus rain equals ODST and Star Citizen.
Basically.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Well, they teased that
Yes.
armor too on, I think, Twitter. There was like a little
The
screenshot,
sneak peek,
and
yeah.
it looked like ODST type of gear too. I thought
Yeah.
it was coming with this.
Now you just need the
Maybe it was.
piano music
Yeah.
and the vibes are set.
I hope they changed like the front screen to some dude in the Star Citizen kit sitting there with the rain to mimic the Halo thing. That would be
Oh
so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, like leaning on
won't,
like an
but
Ichty or
it
something.
would be
Like
cool.
that would be really cool. It was a sniper armor they teased at CitizenCon.
Was that what that was? Oh.
It might be. That actually, I think Convex is right. That makes a lot of sense.
They're starting to put in all of those specialist armors
Mhm.
that they
Yeah.
shown.
Like you can scan with the Antium armor,
I
but
do.
it's like awkward and sometimes doesn't work. Definitely doesn't work all the time, but then sometimes it works. So it's a little.
I do have a quick question for Galley. Whatever.
What's that?
So I want to know personally how you feel about the proposed EVE Online-esque type of economy and base building. I mean, that's a big encompassing thing, so we don't have to fly too into that. I know we're trying to wrap up here, but I personally would like to know how you are perceiving that economy thing.
Well, so what do you mean? Like though, actually,
Like-
I'm not very familiar with Eve. I'm very loosely familiar with
Okay.
the fact that they have a player economy,
Mhm.
but I'm not super aware of the intricacies of how it works.
I wouldn't even call myself really big into Eve, but the fact that I know with Eve is that every single thing, every ship you see, every piece of ammo was made by a player. Or
Yep.
sold by a player, or stolen by a player, or whatever. Then that's what keeps their economy. And I think that's a huge ask to mimic exactly what the EVE economy is. But with crafting, with the whole blueprint system, I mean, I guess I could have narrowed the question down. I guess my main thing is, are you excited about that live, dynamic economy? Because if it is what they said it was going to be, your arms deals are going to be
Yeah.
Galley's about to be the
100 times
grand
more
exchange
popular.
of RuneScape.
Yeah.
So,
in Star
I'll
Citizen.
tell you what my vision is for like where I see me ending up because I think it plays into everything you just said. I see my arms dealing events ultimately stopping being at random locations, and it'll ultimately end up in becoming a freaking fortress that I built with my teams. And that fortress will be an in and out shop that people can come and go at any time. I'm going to have 24/7 security. I want it to be in the most dangerous zone possible because I want to be getting the most rare and the most crazy things possible. And I want it to just be a freaking fortress. I want everything to be player made. I want nothing to be handed to us because I think that becomes an achievement of itself. If you're running an operation at that scale, that's freaking awesome. And that's where I see us ending up. they've already confirmed that they're building out terminals where players can buy and sell things to each other. So we know it's coming. I'm going to be able to put on displays with those armor things. I'm going to have a freaking showcase of those things. We're going to have the walls 10 feet high. We're going to have the turrets everywhere. We're going to have a whole operation, and I want it to be fully player. I mean, that's true for everything, though. Not just economy.
Right.
I want everything in this game to be controlled by the player base. I want as few things as possible to be made for us by the game. Like, I love Hathor and I like Stormbreaker. I think from a visual standpoint, they're super fun. I just will never enjoy those as much as I enjoy, not to pat myself in the back, but what I'm doing, just because it's all player generated, it just feels so much cooler to me. Even if the visuals aren't as cool, the meaning and the feeling behind it is so much cooler because it's all player generated.
Right.
And whether that's content, whether that's economy, whether that's items coming from that economy, whether it's PvP, whether it's anything, building ships, like I want all of it to be player run if I can. Because yeah, it's gonna be so freaking cool.
Do you own a Banu Merchantman?
No, that's a very common question.
Why is that your
these
least
days.
favorite chip?
I hate alien chips, and I will never own a Banu Merchantman. But I do think
I don't think anyone's ever going to own a Banu Merchantman at this rate.
Yeah, I don't either. I do think I will get a Kraken Privateer though.
Yep, that was the next one I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't like Drake either, but I like Drake a lot more than I like alien ships.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, there's no other ship that can really do market trading, other than, to my knowledge, the Privateer and the BMM. So, if ideally an RSI comes out with a trade type military ship, that's what I would run it out of. But for the time being, the Idris is my trade of choice ship.
Yeah, love the designs of the RSI ships. I'm partial to them. That Perseus. Ooh. As soon
Very
as I saw the
excited for it.
concepts, I was like, bye, thanks. But all right, gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. Gally, where can the people find you?
Twitch, Twitter, is same name as here. My Discord. Anyone can add me on Discord if they have questions. Just at Galidrum. And then my my YouTube is Sit Voice Podcast, stands for Citizens Voice Podcast, and those are kind of my main things. Biggest things are Discord and Twitter. I'm on those 100 times a day.
Meta, where can the people find you?
TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. On a lot of those platforms, I'm under DG Meta TV, not Meta Viking yet. I'm kind of in the middle of a rebranding, but
Rebrand. And I am Citizen Skylark. Socials are below. Citizens of the Verse over at TikTok. I just want to say thank you to all my fans over at TikTok. We have grown exponentially over the last couple of months. You guys have shown so much love, so thank you very much. Thank you to the Twitch chat. Thank you for everyone to tuning in today. Thank you to Spry, Alina Bell, Giggles Fanboy, Wicked Starlight, and Gally. You did follow me too. Thank you for following. Thank you for everyone in the chat. This has been the Quickscope podcast. Thanks for tuning in. And I will be live tomorrow, probably around 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern. If you guys want to stop by again, we'll be doing FPS PvP. If anybody else wants to join me, let me know. All my links are in the bio. You can stop by, say hi. Thanks for the love, guys. Appreciate you all. Hopefully this is the first episode of many. Have a nice day.